see you back. I'm thinking about making a wing box. It's the box with two long tapering legs, or curved legs down with a, it's cut out in the middle and got a little lid on it. I saw Bob Hamilton do this 3 or 4 years ago, I guess, and I've made 1 or 2. They turned out, I think they turned out okay, but I'm trying to get a little bit more thinner legs. I want to try to get the legs really nice and thin and smooth to make it look a little more elegant. My others were a little rough. But basically what I've got is I picked this piece of pecan out. I really like the figure in it. Don't know if you can see it very well or not, but it's got a lot of nice spalting in it and all this, and the wood's good and dry now. So I'm gonna try it off of this. I've cut it 2 by 2, and it's about 7 inches long. I've marked the center of what I want to be the face right here. I'm just going to go to my Forstner bit. I'm going to use about 1 1/4 inch Forstner bit, and I'm gonna drill down maybe 1/4 inch, give me enough room for my jaws to open up. Well, let's see if we can make a wing box. Okay, well, I ended up, I've got a mortise in the back. It's 1.5 inches. I've got it mounted up in my pin jaws. I've got my lathe set at its fastest setting. You tend to get better cuts that way. So I'm going to put a tenon on the back end here so I can reverse this thing around and remount it. So too deep. I don't want to go too deep because I'm going to be cutting into the top and hollowing this out. So I've got to be very careful how deep I go right here. Right? So I'm ready to spin it around now. Alright. Got it turned around, mounted on my tenon back here. I'm just going to start working on this hollowing out the box part. I'm just going to do that. I'm going to do that with my little bowl gouge, 3/8. Get this about 1 1.5 inches deep. So let's see where we're at. Let's see, I'm at, when I face this off, I'm at 1 3/4 inches here now. So I want this about maybe 1 inch, about 1 inch deep, I guess, yeah. So what I'm looking at, I built this little thing. Basically, I can measure this up and set this for 1 inch. Tighten screw down. There we go. 1 inch. Okay, got about another quarter to go. Okay, now I'm just going to start working on the outside profile, which I want a nice sweeping smooth curve here. So here we go. Get the tool rest around here so I can get in there a little bit better. Right. I'm almost down here now. Almost. This is mainly just a pulling cut. Shear scraping. Just to smooth everything up. Let's see what we got. Okay. Alright. Still a little flat up here on the top. So I'm going to try to cut that on down. Very nice. I'm watching the shape of the curve. Nice, smooth, pretty smooth curve. Got some marks right here. But I believe I can sand that out. That's very minor. Okay. Now what I'm doing is I'm looking through this. As I make these cuts, you can see the ghost image here. And from looking at it from the side, maybe you can see, I'll bring you around. When you look at it from the side, it looks like a bowl. See? And you use that ghost image, use this ghost image to cut your curves and get them just as smooth as you want to. You just have to go, it's better to go very fast. I believe I'm right at 2,500 RPM, but you turn very fast and you just kind of look through the bowl to get your shape. So now I'm going to remeasure this hole because I did take it down a little bit more. I'm going to measure it down here and see how far up I have to come. I want to leave the bottom around maybe 1/8 of an inch or so thick. So anyway, let me do that, and I'm going to go ahead and sand the front of this top portion here. I'm going to go ahead and sand all of this, and then I'll cut a recess right here for my lid. Well, I'll go ahead and sand it. I'm gonna take it up to about 400 grit and all that, but I'm gonna start about 150. I've got a bad spot right here, so I'm gonna start about 150. And I'm just gonna sand up the top. I'll be back when I get ready to cut my reel. Okay, I've got most all my sanding done. Now, Bob Hamilton, the way he did it was he used a 3-inch sanding pad with his drill and sanded all this up. I just don't think my lathe turns fast enough for that. I can do 2,500 RPM on mine right now. He was up around 3,500, and I don't know, but if I try to do it, I end up tearing my sandpaper off and stuff, and I'm worried I'm going to tear up my piece. So I've just sanded them all by hand like this, and this is my final sanding here. It's 400 grit. It's very slick, very smooth already. Okay, I've got it sanded all the way to 400 grit now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut my tenon, or my recess in here for my lid. And I'll start it out with a skew. I just want to barely put a little recess around this rim to hold everything. I'll start it with my skew. See how she looks now. Good, got a really nice cut all the way around. Okay, got everything sanded to 400 grit. Then I came back and cut my rabbet, my little recess right here. Now, the reason I did it last was because that way once I sand it, I can keep that sharp corner if I cut the recess after it's sanded. Well, now I'm going to go ahead and finish the top portion and the inside of the box. I'm just using it's a food safe finish. It's a feed and wax. Really all it is, it's orange oil and carnauba wax. Maybe a couple other kind of waxes or beeswax or something, but it really makes a nice finish. And I use it on cutting boards and things like that, and it smells good too. But I just apply it with a paper towel. And the first coat really gets soaked up good. So I'll probably put a couple on here, and I'll come back in a couple of minutes once it cures up a little bit, and I will just kind of wipe it off, buff it. It makes a nice little sheen on the piece, and the more you put on it, I think the better it looks. And we'll get this thing turned around and start working on the bottom section, on the bottom portion of it. So I'll see you in a few. Okay, thought I'd just show you this thing right here. I use it to check depth in bowls and things like that. If you loosen a screw up, you can lay this right in there like that and push this all the way to the bottom and tighten that screw. Then you can check and see where your depth is here. So now I've got my depth right there, and I want to drop about an 1/8 inch back when I start cutting this out. As I come around this way, I'm going to get to the bowl, and I'll go this way. But I want to stay, you know, probably around 1/8 of an inch, maybe even a little bit less. But that's how I use this. I use it a good bit. I forgot who showed me how to make it or whatever, but it wasn't my idea. It was actually somebody else's idea. I think it may have been Bob Hamilton also. If you haven't seen his YouTube channel, you ought to check it out. It's really very informative. He's an exceptional wood turner. I'm sorry, I thought my camera was recording when I was doing this, but basically when you're doing this, you're watching your ghost image as it's coming around, and you just hollow this like a bowl. I'm down to, I don't know, just under an 1/8 inch, 3/16 maybe, but all I'm doing is starting to hollow. Being very careful, I can't really come back to this anymore because it's so thin. But now I'm just going to continue on up through here, and then I'm going to come around the outside of the bottom of the bowl. I've already cut down to my depth, which is, I've got a little mark right there, and I just measured it off, and I bored out down to that depth, so I know I won't go past it. And all I'm doing is watching my ghost image as I hollow. Just hollowing, just like you would a bowl. Watching the ghost image. And see, I'm getting a little bit wider as I go down, so I'm just going to have to kind of pay attention to that. I don't want to blow it out now, but I'll be back as soon as I'm going to cut on in here a little bit, and just before I start to make this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let you go for a few minutes. Okay, I'm done with all the shaping now. Got a nice shape. All my dimensions are good. Well, there's a bad spot there. I guess I'm not done with shaping. Let me pull this up here and see if I can't get that straightened out. Right there. Just do a little shear scraping. Now, oh yeah, much better. Okay, now it's about time to start sanding. But what I've done is I've basically been very careful, making light cuts from here. You see how flexible that is. From here all the way in. And you can choose to make this wider than the base, whatever you want to do. I chose to come in. This is what Bob Hamilton did. He came in and I don't know, his just looks so good. It's amazing. But now I'm ready to sand, and even though I did take my time, it's going to be a good bit of sanding on this. I'm probably going to have to start it with maybe a 60 or 80 grit and move up to 150 and then so forth on. But I'm going to go ahead and sand. I'll probably go ahead and start with a 60 grit. But what you want to do is you want to hold this. You want to hold this where you can sand it. Kind of use your thumb to support it and just go back and forth until you get everything sanded. And like I said, I'm having to start with 60 grit. Try to make sure I get all my marks out, and I will. It'll just take a little bit longer, because once those things start getting flexible like this, You can't cut on them anymore because all they do is just leave, they flutter like that on your tool and it just leaves marks. There's nothing you can do about it after you cut too far. So I'm just going to sit here and work on this until I get all my marks out and get her sanded up. And then I'll go ahead and I'll finish the bottom just like I did the top. And I'll be back when I'm ready to start the lid. Okay. Well, now I've got this is ready. It's all finished, it's already signed. Got all the finish on it and buffed. Now I'm trying to start on the lid. I'm going to make it out of walnut. I think, in case you haven't noticed, I really like walnut. Plus, at least for right now, I've got plenty of it. Until I run out anyway. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to size this dowel down to fit this lid here. And we'll see just how close we can get. Let's just see. Don't know yet. Good Lord. You'll never believe it. That is a perfect fit. First time. First time. I've never done that before in my life. That is a good, solid fit. But now, what I have to do is not mess that up. So, what I'm going to do, I got excited and I done forgot what I'm doing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this tenon on just a little bit so it sticks up out of the thing, and I'm going to part it off. And once I part it off, I'm gonna mark it on here where the top is, and that's how I get it flush. I can't believe that. That's unbelievable right there. Okay. Let me see if I can mark this now. Okay. Well, I've got my mark up here. So when I start shaping this thing, I'll shape right down to that mark, and that should make it flush up with the top. Of course, I'll trial fit it, a couple times just to make sure, but that's the plan anyway. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and bring this on down, part it off, and I'm going to make a jam chuck to put that in, and so I can finish shaping it up. So let's see, I'm just going to use my bowl gouge. I'm not going to make any kind of tall finial or anything like that for it. I'm just going to put basically a nice little knob on there. Make it look good. Now we'll part this thing off. Save what's left of that dowel for later, and I'm going to go ahead and make my jam chuck. I'll be back once that's done. Okay, got my jam chuck made. Hopefully it'll hold. I have to make very, very light cuts because it's only as deep. It's only in there as deep as that recess is. So we'll see. What I'm looking for is just a very slight dome shape on top of the box. And well, let's just see what we get. Have to take very, very, very light cuts. I'll come back once I get the shaping a little bit more in tune. Okay, I'm just trying to dress up some type of knob here. And I found you have to make very, very light cuts. Or else this thing will fly off. I had to put a little bit of hot glue right along the edge right there because it kept popping off. We'll see. We'll see if it'll stay. Just trying to get these cuts in here. I don't know if I'm going to leave that little point on there or not. It may decide for itself. Actually, I don't think I like it. I don't think it's going to look good for what I want to do. I'm going to cut it off. I think I'm liking that. I believe that'll look pretty nice. Good sharp, crisp edges. See where I had to hot glue? I had to hot glue that thing on there because it kept wanting to pop off. So I'm going to cut that off right quick, and then I'm going to try to sand it all up. I believe that's going to look fine. Sharp little point right there. But I didn't really like the little thing on the end. It doesn't look right on something this short. Let me see if I can cut this hot glue off. Okay, it's pretty much gone now, so I'm just going to sand it up, and I'm going to use the same finish as I did before, and I'll be back in just a few minutes to show you the results. Well, here it is. The lid sits nice and flush. It's good and tight. It's not a Bob Hamilton product, but maybe you'll check out his channel and see a true expert do it. I'll try to put a link in the description below to so you can see how he does it. It's very similar to the way that I did it, but he does his lids a little bit different, and of course he's an expert. The way he did his, I'll probably never be able to figure out. But the way I did mine with the jam chuck, it worked okay for me. I ended up having to glue, use hot glue right around the outside rim to hold it in place while I did my turning. But it turned out nice, I think. And with that, I will say sayonara and let you go watch another video. Have a good night.